shadows falling on the walls again, dancing with ghosts of the people I've been. Have they gone and died, or are they living here inside? Silhouettes walking down the avenue, twilight's asking me, what are you planning to do with the years and time between now and the end of the line?
Winter relishes the dark, coaxing us into 16-hour hibernations. A mistress of the night, she'll steal away your happiness, replacing it with shadows that stretch long and linger heavy. Her breath bites sharp, a lover turned cruel. Wrapping the world in icy veils, she whispers promises of stillness, but the quiet is deafening, a silence that hums with absence and the ache of lost light. The ground wears frost like a shroud, each step an elegy to warmth. Yet in her icy clutch she hides small mercies, the diamond glint of a snowflake, the tender glow of firelight, the secret seed sleeping beneath the frozen soil, dreaming of spring. Winter, the thief of joy, is also the keeper of endurance, for in her long, restless night, we learn to cherish the dawn.
Good morning, my name is Christine and I'm spending the winter living out of my 2017 Subaru Forester. Last night I camped just south of Moab, Utah at a rest area where the temperatures reached the high 20s overnight. Yesterday we experienced just about 8 hours of daylight. In fact, it's about 7 hours and 40 minutes we're expecting today during the solstice. And so I've had to make some serious adaptations to my road lifestyle in order to make the most of this experience in the wintertime. I have lived on the road before, but it's always been during the summer or fall and spring. This is my first winter on the road, and I'm going to share with you some of the adaptations I have to make on a day-to-day basis in order to make the most out of this experience. But spoiler alert, I'm loving it. Also, if you enjoy my content and like what you see here, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. It helps other people find my channel through the algorithm. And if you enjoy what you see over time here, please consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Appreciate you so much, and let's get on with the video.
The areas I've been traveling through recently are experiencing their low season. Many businesses have chosen to shutter, giving the hardworking business owners and staff an opportunity to rest, or head out on their own adventures. As a sometimes weary and lonely traveler, finding the exception feels like a real gem. Back of Beyond Bookstore, located on Main Street in downtown Moab, is one such gem. I was surprised to find the actual writing desk of Edward Abbey, author of such books as The Monkey Wrench Gang and Desert Solitaire, located inside the shop. With less than 8 hours of daylight each moment is a fleeting opportunity to nourish both heart and soul, mind and body. To move in winter is to awaken your body to its own strength.
I'm ready to start.
Simple steps generate warmth and breathe energy into the season. But winter asks for balance. You don't need to ignore the cold. Instead, let your body find rhythm.
On my patchwork heart.
Each step a quiet defiance
Don't
against the chill.
wanna tear it apart. I'm ready to start on this patchwork heart. Silence has taken its toll on my soul. It's shaking the ceiling and the floorboards below. I'm trying to climb up the walls of my mind. Ooh, I'm ready to start. On my patchwork heart. Ooh, I'm ready to start. Ooh, on my patchwork heart. Don't wanna tear it apart. I'm ready to start on this patchwork heart.
Whew, I am so winded. So I'm doing this hike, and I know I descended a lot at the beginning, and in the middle of it was quite undulating, and I kept thinking, when am I gonna ascend? Looking at the map, I didn't see any switchbacks, so I was a little bit confused about how I was gonna go, because I could see the top of the plateau that I needed to get back onto. I'm basically there now. And then all of a sudden I came to this vertical section, and I was like, okay, and then it probably, I don't know, meanders a little bit. No, it just like meanders a little bit, and it pretty much just goes straight up the slick rock, which hiking on slick rock is one of my, like, it is my most favorite surface to hike on. But that was very vertical, and the number of successive explosive movements I needed in order to get safely from one perch to another. Whew, got my heart pumping, but it was fun. It was so fun. Whew.
I'm going to cook some breakfast at this picnic area in Canyonlands National Park where I just finished up a hike. Had a good time on the hike and I'm feeling pretty hungry, although I only have one egg left, so I'm going to make a singular breakfast taco. At least that'll take the edge off of my hunger. In this video, I'm discussing how I've had to make adaptations to spend winter on the road and do so, I'm not going to say the word comfortably, because in fact, that was part of the problem of my approach to coming on the road this winter, is that I was expecting it to be comfortable. See, I spent a good portion of the month of November at my mom's house in California, just visiting, and I was there for Thanksgiving. And it started to feel very comfortable there. In fact, more comfortable than I typically live. As somebody who does seasonal work, I live in all sorts of different kinds of housing, and usually it's shared accommodation to one respect or another. And so there's a lack of privacy, there's increased responsibility, there is less creature comforts, like hot showers and comfortable beds are not necessarily a given. So coming back on the road after being off the road for even just that short amount of time felt very shocking. That combined with the fact that I was now on the road in a whole different season than I had ever experienced before. I really got to a point where I felt like this wasn't going to work, that I wasn't going to be able to live on the road. And despite the fact that I had been loving it for all of the months that I had been on the road prior, both spring and fall, where you guys came along, I suddenly felt like it was not manageable, like it was not something that I wanted to be doing or could be doing. It took a little bit of time, but I was able to figure out what the problem was. My attitude going in was that it was going to be kind of the same as it had been, that I had figured out how this worked for me, and I was just going to follow along on that trend because that's how it had been working. The thing is, the season was now different. So instead of me trying to force the season to yield to my will, or, which was a bit more of what was happening, was me telling myself that I wasn't strong enough, disciplined enough, or good enough to make this work in the winter, I decided to try to adapt my processes. And I'm thankful that I didn't just decide to live in this space where I was the problem, and that I recognized what the problem was and found solutions to work the problem. Adding in some whatever this is, banana pepper rings, some olives. But definitely the hardest part of living in a vehicle during this time of year is the short days. I am somebody that really feeds off of the sun. And also, I just don't feel that comfortable out in the dark. And so I was really limiting what I was able to get done in a day because of the short time that the sun is actually up this time of year. So I had to adapt my schedule and I had to expect myself to stop being comfortable. That meant on cold mornings, I was no longer allowed to just stay in bed until it warmed up because guess what? By the time it warmed up, the day was nearly done. And then that's just so depressing to just waste your day away in bed. It's too much cheese. Okay, maybe not enough. I feel the workings of healthy morning routine on the road kind of working its way through my system. Something I regularly like to remind myself of is that it's okay for hard things to feel hard. It seems a little bit obvious, but when you're in the moment of the real, true toughness that builds grit, sometimes it's hard to remember. Freaking delicious. Mm. It's like one of the best things I cook. I try not to rely too heavily on that sentiment because willpower is a finite resource. And if you're constantly just trying to bootstrap it and just try to use willpower and grit alone, you're going to putter out. It's just your grip strength will finally give way, it will release, and it'll stop working. So, what was the solution? The solution was to stop thinking that I had it all figured out. I just needed to adapt to the environment. Instead of expecting the season to yield to me, I needed to yield to what the season was trying to give me. And what that looks like is me taking advantage of every opportunity of daylight and decent weather and the layers that I have to be outside and doing the things that I love, moving and taking care of my mind and body. So a big thing that translates to is I'm not spending any more long days editing. I'm really making sure I'm diligent about breaking it up into couple hour increments every single day for my editing, my planning. Basically, my computer work is happening when the sun is down. It's not like a clock in midday kind of thing, not a 9 to 5, because 9 to 5 is my time to exist in the most comfortable way possible, in the most livable way possible out here on the road. So it's just kind of flipping the whole system on its head a bit. The long, warm days of summer beckon me to camp before sundown, where I stake my claim on a plot of land in competition with many other peak season travelers. I enjoy the long setting sun while cooking dinner before turning in for a late night. Winter, she's different. In winter, there isn't the same competition for coveted campsites, so I find myself lingering places longer into the day, or sometimes finding a cozy place to spend the evening, whether that's in a brewery, a restaurant, or a public resource such as a late open library. When the hard thing feels hard, just remember that the feeling won't go on forever. One day, you'll wake up and the sun will rise moments earlier than the day prior. But in the meantime, life is all about adapting to best enjoy the season we're in. And that advice works whether you're a nomad or not.